Hey there, it's Caitlin, SNAP-Ed Nutrition Educator here in Waldo County, Maine. I've got another recipe for you today. We're doing quick chili. This is another one from Eating Better on a Budget from the 10 Tips Nutrition Education series. So here's our recipe card for today. Now's the time to pause and take notes or grab a screenshot. You'll see I went a little rogue on a couple things, but we'll talk about that more later. So here are my ingredients. Medium onion, I think that's a little generous for this little guy. Then I have a can of diced tomatoes, but I don't know if you've been to Hannaford lately. It's a little nuts in the tomato aisle, so I could only find another can of crushed tomatoes, and this was the only brand that I could find that didn't have spices or seasonings. And then I have my dark kidney beans, but I also thought this would be a good time to use up some extra beans I had in my cupboard. So we're going to throw in some garbanzo beans and some black beans today. Alright, so I started by chopping my onion. This is a homegrown little guy, so it had some curly cues and bumps and bruises, and what I was left with was definitely not the amount of a medium onion. I probably should have grabbed two, so we may be a little lighter on the onion than the recipe suggests, but trust me, this does not turn out light. So we're going to start by greasing the bottom of our pan. I have spray olive oil and I really love it because it helps me control the amount of oil that I put in the pan. When I do a little glug and I think it's a tablespoon, it's probably like 2 or 3 tablespoons. And when a tablespoon of olive oil comes in at over 100 calories, that makes a significant difference in the outcome of your recipe. So I added the onions to my pan, and then we just let them sizzle away for a little bit. We want to sweat them out. We don't want them to get too brown, but we also don't want to add salt at this stage because it will pull out so much water that it'll prevent them from getting that brown, beautiful color. And that will actually add a lot of flavor to the bottom of the pan, which will help our overall chili in the end. So the recipe calls for lean meat. I actually had some frozen turkey. Whoops, that's not supposed to be in there. I had some ground turkey in my freezer, and it had just been stuck in the back of the freezer for a while, so it was time to use it up. So that's what I used for this recipe, but any kind of lean protein, ground chicken, lean ground beef, the Beyond Meat, they have a ground Beyond Meat, so you could use a vegetarian. That would be really cool. Ooh, I definitely want to give that a try. But for now, I'm just breaking up the meat at the bottom of the pan, separating it out. So speaking of all the proteins, I'm going to be adding some garbanzo beans today. Did you know that 1 can of garbanzo beans has up to 22 grams of protein? That's more than the average protein bar in the grocery store. I thought that that was pretty cool. So we can add protein in lots of different ways, not just meat. So once the meat has been sizzling away for a little while and it's 99% brown, there can be like a little bit of pink left, but you want most of it gone, we're going to add our canned tomatoes. So I thought that because of the beans that I was going to be adding, I would need more liquid, and I added some water into one of the cans and mixed that in. I wish I had done it to both. Looking back, I wish I had added even more liquid. So that might be something to be aware of if you're, adding an extra can of beans or playing with the protein or the veggies or something like that. Alright, so speaking of the beans, here's the red kidney beans from the recipe, and then here are my rogue magic beans. That's what I told my toddler to get him to try them. He was really excited about it. He actually loved the chili, probably only because I told him that they were magic beans. So then I just stirred everything through and added in the spices. This is a great time to play with spices. If you have like a seasoning mix or a taco blend or something that you've been dying to try, this would be a great chance for it. Some cumin, garlic would be great. Then we just let that simmer away until it was nice and thick and beautiful. And oh my gosh, my house smelled so great. So after about 15 to 18 minutes, just on low heat, this is what the chili looked like. The sauce got really thick, the beans and the meat absorbed all that flavor. It was amazing. I ate it just like that for lunch. But then for dinner, we actually stirred some corn through it and it changed the whole thing. So you can play with it, you can change up your leftovers, you can change up your toppings. Here are some additional ideas that I had for toppings or mix-ins. So corn, fresh or frozen, cooked rice, cooked quinoa, black beans, chickpeas, garbanzo beans, avocado or guacamole, tomatoes or salsa, cilantro, sour cream, yogurt would be great, tortilla chips, chili flakes or hot sauce, and then my new favorite has been radishes. I love the crunch and the zest that they add. Yum. So here's one final look at our amazing chili. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you find use for all of those extra cans and things in your pantry. As always, head to mainesnaped.org for more. Thanks. Bye-bye.